Okay, there it is. What's happening, everybody? It's Sunday. Ugh, why does it have to be Sunday? But it is. What's going on? Welcome to the Patreon stream. Thank you guys for joining in. If you're new to this, basically, it's just it's the Patreon. So, try to do little perks or whatever the heck when it comes to subscribing to the Patreon. I'm like, hey, if you subscribe, come on to a live stream. Talk to me for a little bit. Let's have fun with that. If you want to do it, let me see. I'll put the link here. I meant to put the link just in case anybody would like to join. I try to post other things. I do like an exclusive podcast over there sometimes. Try to post things I hear, just kind of have fun with it. Well, oh crap, that didn't work. I don't know. All right, hold on a sec. Which one is this? Sorry, I should have had this all ready to go and I totally forgot to. Let's see. Put that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, moving that over. Okay, sorry. It's weird that it's like daytime still over here. Still like daytime. Okay, I'm gonna pin. Let's see if I can pin this. There's that right there. We'll go ahead and pin the message. So there you go. All right, ready to go. So if you want to join, you could do that. But cheers, everyone. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. Currently right now, looks like the Giants are tied. Giants are tied. I was just listening to the game right there. So, but let's see who's out there. We got some people out there. MSGT, like when you made fun of idiots who were expecting Cavill showing up at your D20, my D23. I don't run D23. The D23 Marvel. Okay. I remember talking about that. I don't remember fully what it was. So, let's see. Whoa, what's going on, Tim? We got Tet. We got Miss Nighthawk, Steph. Hopefully feeling better. Yeah, normally, I know. I try to do these on Saturday, but Saturdays have been busy this month as they've been lately. So, and Miss Steph needed some attention because she wasn't feeling too good. So I had to, my boyfriend duties of taking care of the missus. So here we go. Good to see you. And Jose, good to see you. Good to see you. We got Droga, which looks like he might be joining. Boo. Boo. Let's see. Who else we got? We got Alakazoo is here. Good to see you. All right. We got Fear Jason. We got Patrick. We got Stephanie T's here too. Cool. Who else? Did I miss anybody? Probably. I don't know. I didn't go to the air show. I heard it. Yeah, we were thinking about going today. But yeah, she was sick. So Miss Nighthawk was sick. We were planning on it, but yeah, she was just not feeling too good. But we had a good time last night, laughing at stuff, and yeah. So and woke up this morning still not feeling too good. So we decided not to go to the air show. Sadly, what's going on? I can't stand Sundays, but at least we'll get another Flash trailer. That's right, we are getting another Flash trailer this week. I forgot about that. And we're going to get reactions from Cinemacon as well. So going to be interesting week for sure. And then leading in from Cinemacon, that's why I titled this, From Cinemacon to SnyderCon. It's just going to be a crazy freaking week. All right, let's go ahead and bring some of the patrons in here to see what they got to say. We got Mr. Droga right here. Axel, what's happening, sir? I think you're muted.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Good. How you doing?
Yeah. What time is it for you there?
It's 6:11 p.m. Not too bad.
Because for me, it's about 11:11 a.m. I got class in 20 minutes, so yeah.
Nice.
I'm at uni right now, and
that's right. It's Monday morning for you.
Yeah. So yeah, how's your week been? Sorry, I couldn't join the vodka stream last week.
Oh, that's all good. We had a packed panel, so
Yeah, it was very packed.
Yeah, it was pretty packed, so makes sense. All right, we had somebody else behind stage. Somebody new I saw behind there that left right now. Interesting. But we got Mr. William right here. Good to see
What's
you.
going on, man?
Hey, William.
Good to see you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. But very busy next 3 weeks all around. So we got obviously Free Comic Book Day, which is like Black Friday for a place like mine.
Yeah.
I got Tromania with Lloyd Kaufman going on, and then I just got my marching orders from the Nerd Queens about Sunday, so I'll be doing a lead-in to the 4-hour presentation. So I'll be
really?
on the air. Yep. So they're getting me all the details of that. So I was trying to get tickets that day when it sold out with 7 minutes.
Yeah.
If it would have been a disaster if I would have had to sell them, because all the stuff that started lining up like right within like a day of that. A lot of stuff that I cannot leave Vegas. The same reason why I wouldn't be able to go is why I probably won't even make it to Comic-Con this year. It's just this time of year for Vegas is when all the conventions start coming in. So I'm glued to Vegas right now.
I know. I wish I was going to Cinemacon. I was hoping that was going to be the case, but they turned me down, those bastards.
I tried too, and once you got turned down, I knew there was no way in hell I was getting in. And then I looked at the non-NATO thing, right? To because you can actually buy a ticket.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at like $1,300 for one movie because I was going to go for Top Gun, right? Yeah. That's how I found out how much it was, and I'm like, there's nothing else during this 3-day period that I want to see. I can wait 2 months to see The Flash.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to get leaked anyway. So, I'm not really – spoilers are not going to hurt me as far as The Flash goes. I just want to see it. But, yeah, $1,300 for one movie. That's like literally going to the movies and buying the most expensive caviar steak. I mean, escorts, everything. And then, just not really getting much out of it. So –
yeah.
So I missed out on that, but like I said, it is what it is. I will wait. We'll be promoting it, so we'll see it before a lot of people, just not before people at Cinemacon who will see it 2 months early. So
yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, they're already posting things for Cinemacon. I saw like a Blue Beetle stuff. They had the costume on display. Yeah. They got some Flash posters.
What
up.
else are they showing up?
They got an Aquaman one there too.
They got an Aquaman poster up there, but it doesn't show anything. It just shows the logo and the water looking kind of icy. So I made the joke. I'm like, is it teasing Frosty? If anybody remembers that,
yeah.
No,
that. Yeah, I don't see what. Not too worried about Aquaman. Listen. The last Aquaman wasn't a great movie. It being whatever I hear from Aquaman as far as it being horrible, the first one wasn't great, and that's not what drew its money. It's a MILF magnet. If Jason Momoa takes his shirt off at any point in time during that movie, it's not going to matter what the story is because it didn't matter what the story was last time. That's not
sexualizing Jason Momoa.
Yeah. He's a
they got to stop promoting that movie soon.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they're going to start promoting it soon. No, they'll probably start promoting it. I don't know. I mean, we'll probably get maybe we'll get a teaser or something this week. I don't know, but no, but was there like a demographic that showed that of who went and saw Aquaman? Was it like...
All right? So when we did the original promotion back, I think it was 18 or 19. When we did our sampling, the repeat audience was like 33-34% mothers or single mothers bringing their kids. Okay. So that amplified the money that they were making because with us nerds, a good percentage of it was single males.
Yeah,
and we're just going with ourselves. But when it's I'm not exaggerating. When it's a mother involved, a lot of times it's a lot easier to bring the kids along. And 2 or 3 times there was multiple viewings amongst that demographic. And I don't think those women were going to see, Shakespeare or Scorsese. They were going to see, Jason Momoa and
shirtless.
Same reason why he got, and Khal Drogo and anything else he's in. You think they were watching Baywatch because they thought he was going to give a Denzel Washington moment? No.
Well, he was very young in Baywatch. He didn't quite have the body that he has now. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, he's in his 40s.
Yo, Dave, I gotta go. So
all right, man. Take it easy. Right. Have fun. Yeah, no, it's interesting though. But you bring up a good point, and maybe they're gonna have to really try to sell it like that again. Just show nothing but shirtless Jason Momoa pictures.
The trailer.
Yeah, the trailer, I know. And then, I mean, look what they did with Chris Hemsworth with Thor: Love and Thunder. They were like, we got to show the part where, you know,
Yeah, he
where you're
loses
going
his
to see his
pants.
bare ass. You're going to see his bare ass in the movie.
Yeah, and
Obviously,
that movie made like almost 800 million. And I'm sorry, and I love Taika Waititi. That movie sucked. That movie
how
was,
do you
I
like
can't
why do you like
believe the
Taka?
guy who made Jojo Rabbit, the guy who did
Yeah, I'll
Jojo
go with
Rabbit
that.
did Thor: Love and Thunder. I can't understand how that could be two drastically different outcomes.
I think Taka is an interesting case because I think yeah, okay. When you think about Jojo Rabbit, I'm like, yeah, that's a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. And hopefully we get some more stuff like that from him. But I think when it comes to these big blockbusters, he's getting paid a shit ton of money, and he knows that the Marvel machine's behind him. I think he just doesn't give a shit. I think he doesn't give a shit. Like, I've heard bad things from behind the scenes. Like, I've heard things, just from people I've talked to, that he's, that he'll just, do that kind of stuff and just kind of not be, and he just doesn't take it too seriously, and it shows, because look at what the product that we got, at least.
That's just sad because he's an Academy level winning, creator, and like what we do in the shadows. I mean, he has good work. It's just like,
That's the thing.
you're right. The bigger the budget, because I'm not a big fan of any of the Thor movies.
Yeah,
I like that character when he's with the Avengers, but his solo movies are like, I could do without all of them.
It almost seems like that just, like, yeah, like he'll just take, like, the fact he does it for the checks, he does it for the paychecks. Like, okay, if I know I'm gonna get that, but then when it comes to the shit that he wants to make, he puts his heart and soul into it, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I don't think he's like a complete, shit. Like I said, I really enjoyed Jojo Rabbit. I haven't watched what's it called, In the Shadows.
Oh, what we do in the shadows, yeah.
Yeah.
I that's not my type of show, and I actually rather enjoyed that type. I usually don't watch comedic stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
But because he was attached to it, I gave it a shot, and I actually, I can see, where his greatness is. But then, like I said, I see Thor: Love and Thunder, and I'm like, there's nothing of that guy in there. And the fact that they packed that movie, his last two Thor movies, it's like they understand that the character himself is too weak to carry a movie. So at Ragnarok, and they just throw so much at you to be like, hey, look over there, look over there. Oh, don't pay attention to our main character.
Yeah.
And that's why I think he works with the Avengers. I love him in the Avengers when he's with them, but on his own, that's a Disney Plus right there, man.
I mean, when it went from Ragnarok to Infinity War, it was like, yeah, the Russos actually did a good job. Like, they did a better job than whatever the hell his own movie. Like, when I went back and watched Ragnarok, at least it had a consistency to it. Love and Thunder feel like it had a consistency to it. I mean, it just felt like all over the place, and that's why I keep calling it like a big long Saturday Night Live sketch. It just,
wow, that's the best description I've heard of it since I saw it.
Dude, I mean, that's what it felt like. It just didn't feel like there was no scope, really. I mean, maybe like when they go to that black and white, planet or wherever the hell that what's his name's on, that looked kind of cool.
Gore.
Yeah, that looked kind of cool. That wasn't bad, but fuck everything else. When they were in that village and everything, which is ugh.
The Guardians were the best thing about it, and they were gone within 10 minutes of the whole. And the Screaming Goats were good. I'll give them that. That was hilarious.
I hated those guys. That was just that was knives in my ear, man. I just like, why the Screaming Goats? It was so annoying.
I got a question for you.
Okay,
because I may have to go here real quick, but because a customer might come in, but because I'm like literally in the middle of it. But Flash, hypothetically speaking, Flash makes $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, as a retailer, the way you stay in business is if you get something that makes you money, that's telling you that people want more of that. Do you think that the retail sales will kick in at Warner Brothers to at least, I'm not saying alter a bunch of things, but at least bring that question to the surface of, we got this guy in his slate. What do we do with this thing we just did? If people make a connection to Supergirl, they reconnect with, Fossil Batman Keaton. If they reconnect with Ben Affleck, if they reconnect with all these things, because everybody has told you the last 5 years, well, this isn't working. This not whatever's not working. If this movie makes $1 billion, that would be enough proof that something's working. Now, stockholders, it's like movies. Stockholders want certainty. Certainty strengthens things. Uncertainty crashes the market. If the Flash pulls in $1 billion, that's more certainty in front of you than 2 years from now with the abstract of the maybe money that Gunn would bring you. Now, that's not a statement, but my question is, do you think that they at least entertain the question of catering to the money that they're making at the moment rather than the maybe money 2 years from now?
It's just it's an interesting question because it's like, yeah, I mean, obviously, but it's so much that it's dealing with the multiverse that there's so much that we could do. I mean, I'd have to see it first to see like, okay, so how could you continue anything like when it comes to, what they've established in it? I mean, obviously it's Snyderverse things that are happening there still. But then it's like, okay, but how does everything play out? That's the thing. I can't really answer until I see it because I just want to know, like, where does it actually, land? Where does it actually finish? How does it finish? How does the story finish? Because even though it's Snyderverse, it's its own thing as well. And obviously we have Keaton coming back. We got a new Supergirl. And then it is kind of interesting because obviously in the DCU slate that was announced has a Supergirl movie in it. And it kind of makes you wonder, okay, are they going to do this or not? I don't know. It's an interesting question. And I really don't know that answer until I actually see it maybe. But you're right. I mean, the fact that it's like, if it makes $1 billion, it's like, well, how do we do that again? But it's like, but can they do that again? I don't know. It's such a weird thing. You're right, though. It's an interesting question. What do you think? Oh, did he freeze? I think he froze. Uh-oh. William froze. Or he's just upset about my answer. That's what's happening. He's upset. Look at him. So yeah, William looks like he froze right now, but it is an interesting question. It is an interesting question to put out there. It really is because I don't know. It's like, you moved a little bit. Okay, you're back up.
Hey, and part two of that question for me, because like I said, I don't know how long I have. I am on board with most of what James Gunn has done, and I think I have no doubt that he can tell a story. I think a lot of people with the whole big jokes and all that. To me, a storyteller is a storyteller, period.
Yeah.
That's not my question. My question is, once they came in, should he have been hired? Anybody should have been hired for that position before they took inventory of what they could possibly salvage and maximize and make money off it. Because, say, for instance, now you kind of, like I said, this kind of brings back to that question where you're going to put this out there. And if people make a connection, it's like the Joker. Nobody said not the Joker could make a sequel until it made money. Supply and demand. Have you put James Gunn in an unwinnable situation because you didn't take inventory on what you could have followed through?
Yeah, it's gonna be because you bring up a good point when it comes to Joker too. It's like that, that first one didn't make that $1 billion, or maybe even if it didn't make $1 billion, but even if it made close, because obviously the budget was really small, and the Oscars and all that stuff. So a lot of us are going like, it doesn't need a sequel. I was very against the sequel, but then I heard what Todd Phillips was pitching and for the story, I went, okay, all right, I'm curious of how you're doing it. So but it's just it's when it comes to the Flash and how everything's going right now, it is going to be interesting to see, like, if it makes that $1 billion, is like, what do they do? How do they utilize the fact that it made that much to be like, all right, how can we make, we got Blue Beetle that's coming out after that. How can we at least make a splash when it comes to that? And then of course you have Aquaman, which, that's going to be a rough one. But then, then all of a sudden we have no DCU movies in 2024. And then it's like, what do you do when it comes to the Flash? You got the Ezra situation. Does he come back? It's just, I don't know. There's so many things that this movie has been cursed. Its movie has been cursed because it's been in development hell for years. And then all of a sudden it might make a shit ton of money, and because of, what we've seen. And now it's like, but it's just going to be a one and done. It's a weird thing.
And if you look at it, listen, and let's go out for argument's sake, and James Gunn just puts out the Godfather of superhero movies. All right, and it's great, and we're blown away from it. I still don't think there's a possibility that it won't do well because of the man babies who have that death grip on whatever Superman means something to them in their childhood, that it's going to take time for that death grip to loosen. Same thing with every iteration of any of these main pillar characters. The one thing that is still constant, no matter who runs Warner Brothers and stockholders, is that money's still green, and stockholders still want, they want profit. They want their dividends to grow. They want all these things to happen. They're not fans like us. The story, if it doesn't pull in these, if the expectations are goofy, like they say, well, it's got to pull in $1 billion. First of all, fire anybody in your circles that says James Gunn's Superman needs to make $1 billion. Just go ahead and fire them now, because you're going to end up doing it in 3 years anyway. But if Zaslav hasn't given them saying, hey, listen, this is a long uphill battle, then this is why I'm not for reboots and I'm not for mass management changes if you haven't changed the structure of that. And that's stockholders, shareholders. Zaslav has a boss. He's the CEO, but the chairman of the board can call a vote to get rid of him if he doesn't like the way the money's flowing. So what I am worried about is, because they got caught up in the intoxication of reboot, because I guess that's a word that makes people sound smarter than they are, that they didn't really put everything in and look long-term. I don't know if there's long-term thinking here, because he's got a 10-year plan, right? As far as James Gunn, but it's like sports. He's got a 4-year plan with an option. Is what he's got. There's no guarantee, no matter what quality of stuff he has, that it's going to stick. And then we're back where we're at again. And then I'm like, okay, why didn't we strengthen what we had if all we're going to do is shake the soil from under the tree we just planted?
Basically, it's a tough situation. And basically, even though we got the first half of chapter 1, the only thing that we're for sure going to see is Creature Commandos, because that's already been, in production and whatever the hell. That's supposed to be coming out next year or whatever the hell. And then we're going to see Superman Legacy. And if Superman Legacy doesn't hit, I don't know. I mean, I think it has potential. It's gonna hit, but like you said, they better be and people have even said that to me, like in my mentions, going like, what if it doesn't make $1 billion? I'm like, I don't think it's about making $1 billion. I think it's just about making profits. That's it. Like, if they keep that budget pretty, contained, and they could produce, and they get that, 2.5 to 3 times the budget, then
the double-edged sword, though, because there is no such thing as a discount Superman movie that will be successful. Yeah,
but I mean, how much? But I mean, people are enjoying Superman and Lois. But then again, that's TV, I know, but I don't know. Yeah, but a discount.
It's on CW.
Right.
It's on the CW network that's never drawn a profit in its entire existence. That's never been their goal.
His internet's messed up. Yeah, you're freezing up again. Yeah, I mean, right. You can't do a discount one. It's got to be at least probably like close to 200 million. But you'd have to probably. That's why I'm like, you can't cast a known actor. Like, I remember I was hearing Austin Butler was going to be in the short list of playing Superman, and I'm like, his price tag has probably gone up since Elvis, so I don't know about that.
But here's the thing, though, it's you can get away with Batman practical effects. You can get away with a lot of things, but in this era, even with DC, not just Marvel, in this era of comic book movies, the top tier people, which Superman is the top tier, you get what you pay for, and the expectations is you can't do discount Superman. You just can't. Sorry. Yeah. So what's the budget going to be for that, and what's going to be because I'm thinking it's going to be minimum has to be 185 million to meet the standards that can stand. And I think it's going to draw about 600 million.
Yeah, but and then you better have you can't have a heavy price tag actors in there too. That's why when people are like, who should play, and then they talk about all these known actors, I'm like, nah, they should probably get a new fresh face, because they could pay them less. At least I mean when Cavill came on board, I mean, I think he only made 600,000 for Man of Steel or something like that. There's something in that range. He wasn't in the millions, obviously, but I think it was or maybe it was even 300 or 400. I don't know. But I mean, it
wasn't a lot.
No, it wasn't a lot.
They didn't get the most of their investment of him, though, because they didn't use him.
Yeah.
I mean, even with his cheap price tag that came in from Man of Steel, for the age and the prime that you had that guy available, you did nothing with him. And I'm like, how does that happen? And I'm like, how does anybody? I always go on streams where people would defend Hamada, defend these guys, and I'm like, the Flash is technically one of theirs, right? But how is it you were on the job 6 years, and we're just now getting to your first event level movie?
I know.
But you were gonna greenlight Wonder Twins.
I know, right? None of it. Again, that regime just did not. They hated what Snyder was doing so much that they didn't want to do anything else with. I mean, after BVS, and then of course the debacle with what when they tried to change Justice League, it's like they just didn't. They gave up trying to even do anything else, even though they could have all right, maybe we could salvage this. Let's get on to a new Superman movie quickly. Let's get Cavill in there. Let's get somebody, not quickly, but get somebody in here who we can I don't know. It's just like they didn't. From what I gathered, they didn't want to use Cavill anymore after everything, and even Affleck, they didn't want to use him anymore either. And it was just. They apparently were. I don't know. I honestly do not know what the thinking was when it came to all this.
Mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing. It really is. You're absolutely correct.
The funny thing about that is, learned this in the Army. I learned this in the Army. This is one of the things they learned. They tell you in the first weeks of formations and all this stuff like that. With your decision making. If Plan B isn't better than Plan A, then there is no Plan B.
Yeah.
They tried to Plan B the entire DCEU with no Plan B. It would have been different if they'd have said, you know what, we're not doing this anymore with Snyder, but here's this other thing. We're just see this right here. We're going to blow you away. You're not even going to think about it. And they proceeded to blow me away with some really good stuff. But they didn't.
Yeah.
That's their biggest problem. People change course all the time. But if you don't have a course to change to, and we go 5 years with I know Polka Dot Man, Huntress, potential Gleek the Monkey. That's not only is there output. If you look at the output of DC films, not only has it been B-level characters that people just are not going to connect to, but the output itself has been horrible. 5 years without the Man of Steel, any Man of Steel, on the big screen. So that's now James Gunn. Be honest with you, part of the reason I only give James Gunn a 40% success rate, which is kind of high actually, is most of it is not to do with him. Most of it is just basically the scar tissue of the last 6 to 9 years. And sometimes you just don't get second and third chances with the general audience. They don't spend the time on it like we do. They're not discussing it like we do. They take a quick glance, and if it's all jumbled and mess up, they go to something else easier on the board. They go to the coloring book. They're not going to look at the Picasso that takes forever to figure out what the hell's going on. They're going to that coloring book, and that's the coloring book is going to get the money. So good.
No, I was going to say, being in, working for, in a comic book store and everything. So do you talk to people about, I'm sure you talk to people about all this stuff. Do you feel like there's people excited for what James Gunn has announced already?
Not really, and not with hatred.
Okay.
It's more with apathy. I haven't ran into anybody that actually hates it. All the people that I ran into that are not excited, it's just apathy. It's just like, wait a minute. And the first questions go back to the last things that they know. They go back to Cavill, or they go back. Some of them don't even know his name, right? But they know that guy was Superman. And we have enough people that come in, and they're not, diehard nerds like myself, but you don't have to be a diehard nerd to know when something hasn't been finished. And especially when something new is coming along, the first question goes to, well, what happened to the last thing? And then now you have a trust faith issue. You want me to give you new money when I can't even figure out what you did with my old money. It just puts the average customer in a position of making it easier to dismiss you. We're always going to be around. We may bitch and moan and cuss, but at least we're paying attention. You know where we stand. You know how we feel. The average customer is just going to go. He's going to leave the room without making a sound. And that's devastating. That kind of apathy, you don't know how to gauge your market now. You don't know what's working. You don't know what's not working because you've had such a disconnection with the customer for so long that they just got up and walked away to something easier to watch. They want to be entertained, and DC's made it work. They've made it like an extra overtime shift at your job. Nobody wants to deal with that. So it's more of its apathy. and the investment of time. Even if they're not Snyder heads, or even if they're not, bros or bots or whatever, they still invested time and money going to these movies. They were in the movie theater with us geeks. So they spent the same money, they spent the same time, and they don't need to be rocket scientists to know that they didn't get a resolution. And that's why these people like franchises. Franchises sell because they take you on a journey that leads you to an ultimate resolution. Marvel, goofy as some of the movies that they've made, your top tier characters, you got all that you could swing out of those characters, and you got resolution to those characters. And that's how you build your trust, and they just haven't done it yet. So it's going to be interesting to see, because I think a lot of the heat that James Gunn takes, and if he does fail, it's most likely not going to be from most anything that he does. I just think he's trying to dig DC from things that that have taken 9 years. He gets 4 to 5 years to fix something that they've been damaging for 9. So I don't know. I wish him well.
I mean, we all kind of wish him well.
Apathy. Apathy is the biggest enemy right now.
It's interesting because I'm like wondering, like, if you were to ask people just randomly, like, that maybe knows a little bit, because I know you've always brought up the whole thing, like, we never got any resolution, and I'm just kind of going like, okay, so how many people were like there from Man of Steel, then went to BVS, and then watched the Snyder Cut, and then it's like, well, what else? But I mean, I know there's people that, like, I've seen reaction videos where sometimes they're watching and they're like, wait, we're not going to get more of this, that have, that watched it like a year or a year and a half later. So you see that, but then I'm just wondering, like, when it comes to general audience, how much were they paying attention when it came to all that? I don't know. It's again, you raised some interesting questions when it comes to this stuff. So
I'll give you. So we started doing the movie stuff, giving away a lot of stuff you see me involved in. We started that back in 2013, right? And some of those people were with me on March 18th, 2021, when we watched the Snyder Cut. And some of those people started out as those man babies that had that, this is not my Superman. Why don't they just do this? Why don't they just resurrect Christopher Reeve and prop him up? Those guys.
Yeah.
Whenever you're taking IPs like that have been around 80 years, my grandfather in World War II picked up a copy of Action Comics. My father picked up Superman, and I picked. So we're talking three different generations of characters that we all have our different sensibilities. So whenever you're going to attack these characters that have been around that long, you have to understand that, and you have to put on the cup, because you're going to get the goat kick in the balls. You have to expect that, but you have to brace for that. And what they didn't do is they flinched. And now when you talk to these people, and we took some of them to Shazam, we took them all, and like I said, I keep in contact with them. And yes, at the beginning they weren't on board, but given 2 or 3 years or a certain amount of time, they were going to be. They were. And then when we all watched Zack Snyder's Justice League, they're looking at me, especially after the end credit scenes, wondering what's next. And the guys that were running the show in the early 2000 teens didn't have the long view vision. They didn't realize that it's not Marvel. And I always say this: they were driving their Ferrari Testarossa down, the Autobahn, and instead of paying attention to their wheel and their dashboard, they had their necks over at the Marvel Volkswagen. And because of that, they crashed their car. They had to run DC like DC. Marvel did what was right for them. Marvel is not the blueprint for comic book movies. You hear it in the chat, and you hear a lot of fanboys say that stuff. Marvel did what worked for them, and they had a guy who knew what he was doing and the product. That's all DC needed to do, and it would have been, we would have been in a different place right now. So I think it's unfortunate because, like I said, here comes James Gunn, very qualified, very capable, but he's got the odds are against him as far as success rate goes, because of many of it's because of things that he had nothing to do with.
Exactly,
which sucks, and it makes us look like we're closed-minded fans,
But it kind of makes you wonder too, because like what I always keep saying is like when he didn't want Superman at first, and then all of a sudden he was like all of a sudden an idea for how to do it all of a sudden became like, hey, I finally figured out how to do it. That's what makes me curious. Is like, all right, so what clicked in his brain, or was there anything? What money?
It clicked, Dave? I got to answer. No, position. Position. Because there's a difference. There's a difference between working for someone and having that kind of a legacy character, because you know you're going to have to answer to somebody in some way, shape, or form. That just adds to the degree of difficulty. Now he is running the studio. Superman is going to be the focal point of anything you do. He must, and that's why when everybody was asking, well, I wonder who's going to direct and write, I had no doubt in my mind, it better be James Gunn. That is the linchpin of everything you're doing. You can hand off all these other movies to somebody, but else Superman better be James Gunn. That's your ass on the line. That is your literal legacy. That is where you are going to control the pace and the flow of everything that goes forward. That had to be him. So yeah, I think it's the position. To answer that question, it was the position. To have the freedom to handle that legacy character is different than somebody saying, hey, I need you to do this for me. Big difference.
Yeah.
So I think he can do it. I think he can do it. I just don't know how successful it'll be.
Yeah, that's what's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. All right, we got a couple other people showing up right now. We got Mr. Eric Blake. What's going on, man? Hi, how's it going?
Hey guys. Hey guys. Kind of an early stream today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, but I will say though.
Oh no. First of all, there's a restraining order, so we can't have Saggy.
Wait, what? What does he mean?
Way too close to me. We got to move it. We got to
have
another
restraining order, William. I thought you loved me, William. How you been, William?
He loves you too much. That's why.
Wait, William, are you going to the Cinemacon?
No, hell no. I had no chance.
Damn, I was gonna say.
Well, okay, I had a chance to spend $1,300 on one movie, and my cheap ass I can't do that.
I feel you. I was actually, honestly, if you had the money, I'd be like, William, please go, because if anyone should see The Flash, it's got to be you. My money's on you, William.
If there were like a whole day's worth of stuff, I could maybe justify it, but there's literally nothing else on that slate I want to see other than that movie.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I understand, but I was like, oh, because somebody in my chat was like, Cinemacon tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cool. My ass ain't gonna be there. I'm not paying $1,000 for a ticket.
I don't even have to pay for a hotel. It's just the price of that ticket, and they do that on purpose. They tell. I talked to a person I know that's with that group, NATO. They do that because it's not meant for us. It's not meant for us. It's meant for the theater owners and all that. It's accessible to us, but at a price that, you know, if you get a press, you know, junkie, you can get in, or if you're connected. I did have a almost in, but I found out about it too late, and you know, it just, you know, like I said, I can wait. I will promote the hell out of this movie, so I can wait.
Yeah. And I concur with that. I mean, it's very much like people keep complaining about the high prices at Disney, and I'm like, as someone who has the annual passes, I'm like, guys, the lines are long enough as they are. If Disney were more affordable, no one would go to be able to go to any rides.
Yeah. I have a question though. Does anyone know? I'm assuming this is a stupid question, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. I'm assuming they're gonna have NDAs for this film for the films that they're seeing. Okay, because I was like, if they don't have NDAs, that would be dumb. I was like, please don't have leaks tomorrow.
Well, I mean, mainly it's gonna be like, you know, people that are, you know, I mean, leaks are gonna happen. It's no matter what. There's still gonna be people
guaranteed.
Guaranteed. But I mean, there's already leaks that are happening because there was apparently, like, you know, test screenings that you could still find leaks out there already. But when it comes to the main people that are involved, that are like studio people and, you know, and journalists and blah blah blah, they're gonna hopefully they're gonna play by the rules. But there's still gonna be people there that are gonna naturally just, you know, put it out there.
By the way, there's a chance, and this is what happened last year with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movie, right? But there's still stuff that they could withhold stuff. They may not show you everything. They may have something at the end of the Flash that they may not show you. Because last year, when we had people that went Across the Spider-Verse wasn't even done yet, and they showed them pieces of a good portion of that. So there's no guarantee that if there's not a twist or something that you're going to see it at Cinemacon, because the purpose of Cinemacon is to sell these things and let the theater exhibitors know what's coming. It's not to tell us the complete story. So it could happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a given that they're absolutely not going to show any credit scenes. I mean, assuming there are going to be any credit scenes. I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's the end of the old DCU. Do you think they would have had any credit scenes even if they had filmed any? Because what's there to set up?
I say they shouldn't. If they have them, they should not show them. They need to start playing this a lot more by ear, because once again, I'm going to say this forever and forever. Math is undefeated. Math doesn't lose. If the math for the Flash is good, I don't care if Moses comes down with tablets saying this is what we're doing next. If money wins, money is going to beat all that. So a lot of these plans, like I was saying, that James Gunn has put out, I'm not saying he would dash them all if the money is good, but I'm saying that the question of integration, and it's not going to be just so easy. This the end of the DCU, follow the money, and if that money doesn't end, neither does that trail. So
that just made me think of because if the Flash does gangbusters and Aquaman 2 does gangbusters, like the last two true, no question about it, movies of the old DCU, if they both do really, really well, then the studio pretty much has no excuse to do a cold reboot. They're like, we could build up to James Gunn's universe, but if these two movies do really, really well, then they kind of have to give it even more satisfying stuff if we're going to close it up.
Well, and see, and the people you hear about that said, no, they should just reboot. They should start over. Too confusing. Everybody you hear say that isn't paying for shit.
Exactly.
Everybody you hear say the reboot word, they should just start over again and see blah, blah, blah. They ain't paying for shit. They're paying their $10.
Like they use that word.
Exactly.
sorry.
I got really excited. Like I was going, you go, man. Like when you were saying, like, for the past few minutes, I was like, everybody I have ever talked to who has said, we got to do the reboot. It's smart to do the reboot. It's cheaper. It's more affordable to do the reboot. Reboot. Yeah. Every one of them, almost to a one, were people who just did not like Zack Snyder stuff. They had a bias, whether they wanted to admit it or not. But I'll guarantee you, every time, whenever I've talked with an average Joe, or whenever I've talked with folks in my family, for goodness sake, even for folks that I knew from work or whatever, any of them, the Superman they know is Henry Cavill. The Batman they know, well, some of them may enjoy the Pattinson one, but they're more familiar with, they're more or less more familiar with Ben Affleck. Like, they're used to that. It's like, wait a minute, we're not having this again? We're not having more of this? Why? What happened? And I have to tell them that there's a reboot. It's like, that's dumb.
Well, and everybody that thinks a reboot is a good idea, this is the only thing I ask. And maybe it is. Who knows? Think of it from a retail point of view and where these guys are coming from. They bought this $46 billion company with $46 billion in debt that they're having to draw down, and a lot of things that they're going to have to cut. What's going to be more appealing to them? The Flash money that's right here close to me is this Pepsi bottle, or this maybe money that's behind the fence off in yonder somewhere with these nice, cool sounding ideas? If I'm trying to stop my hemorrhaging now and get my stockholders to keep, from, selling off, what's going to be more value to me? The trends that I'm starting on June 16th, or the possibilities from 2 years away? It just comes down to if it was your money, it was your money or your job on the line, not a fanboy, because you can't apply fanboy logic to this. Fanboy logic is the antithesis of this, because fanboys, we're spending $10 after hundreds of millions of dollars have already been leveraged and careers have been put on the line. So we're at the end of the game. But if you apply fanboy logic, then anything is possible. But if you would you paying your bills? All right, you got a power bill to pay tomorrow, Dave. What's the money that's more for you? The money that you could possibly win on Megabucks?
Did I pay that? Sorry.
Yeah, the money that you could possibly win here on Megabucks, or me giving you a few $100 for a job you're about to do. Which one are you going to go for?
Yeah.
See what I mean? It's just, you got to apply math to this, and that's why I'm saying, if they don't at least entertain the question, then they're derelict in their duties as management.
And the previous regime didn't who knows what the fuck they were actually doing, to be honest, because like we were saying, like you have no Superman for that long, and you're just sitting on it. And I kept on saying, like, all the time in the past freaking 4 or 5 years, I'm like, Henry Cavill's value keeps on going up. The value of him when he was in Mission Impossible Fallout, I'm like, his value just shot up right now. So I'm like, what are you guys even thinking about? Like, what are you thinking about? Like, his value just keeps going up. He's now more of a name, and you guys are just sitting on him. You have him as Superman, and you're just sitting there, not doing anything. You could have had, you could have fit like at least one Superman movie in there somewhere, and hopefully that made something where you had a sequel already, like, ready to go for, later on. But then and that could have screwed up, Snyder Cut getting released. I don't know. There's a lot of things that everything like that happened in the past couple of years.
At the very least, if nothing else, The Flash and Aquaman 2 doing very well. At the very least, it should solidify for the studio, for both David Zaslav and James Gunn, that at the very least, give us a Man of Steel 2 built with the intention, with the knowledge of this may be it. So let's give these characters a satisfying send off where they can ride into the sunset, like at the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. If you make Indiana Jones 4, great. If you don't, we can watch them ride off into the sunset and be satisfied. Give us something in good faith, and then we can be more accepting. Yeah, not restore it necessarily.
Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Resolve. Hashtag
resolve
the Snyderverse. Because
I like it.
When you end something credibly, I have more faith in your next thing. But it's like I'm going to a restaurant and you gave me half a steak and I tear that steak up. I'm licking the bones.
Now I'm hungry.
And you told me, yeah, you know what? I'm going into the kitchen, right? I'm going in the kitchen with the other half of the steak. I'm ready. I got my fork ready. I got my money ready. You come back with some bologna and top ramen.
Whoa.
You come back with bologna and top ramen.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Wait, hold on.
Saggy, did you just say A1?
What?
You just say A1?
No, what do you mean? What?
A1 sauce?
I heard something about A1. Did you just say A1?
I did.
only sauce. The
fuck out.
What's wrong with A1 sauce?
A1 is great.
A1 sauce was made for shit steak. Okay, if you have a good steak,
that's what I can afford. That's what I can afford.
But that's what most people can afford. I'm sorry, Dave. Not everyone can afford filet mignon. Okay, not everyone can afford friggin' the grade A beef. Okay, sorry, we live on a budget, damn it.
No. It's all about where you cook it and stuff like that. No, it's all about the way you cook it.
So I got the steak.
It's all about where you cook.
I got the steak, right? And you come back with ramen and bologna. But you keep telling me that, wait, the steak's coming. Eventually, I've gone from somebody who liked what you were giving me to somebody who's just lost faith that you can give me anything.
Yeah.
I just don't have any faith. None of your announcements.
I get the analogy, but I just like when she said A1, I was like, oh God.
Go ahead, Eric. I'll let you talk before I go off on Dave. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, well, if you want to talk about good low budget steak that you can eat by itself, I'll take like London broil any day.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, now Eric, can I go in on Dave real quick? Because he really came for me with the A1 sauce, and I need to address this before we go back. I'm sorry for the chat too, but like Dave, it don't matter. Listen, A1 sauce is good regardless of what.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, no, it's not. It is good.
No, it's gross.
You are so you are entitled, sir.
Look at the ingredients. And
A1
like,
sauce
is
delicious. A1 sauce. Yes, bad stuff is
in there.
Like, do you know what's in a lot of food? You know they literally grind.
I look at my label. You know all of
the dyes in food are ground up beetles, right?
Yeah, there's some feedback with me right after I said what I loved about London broil. Suddenly everything froze up.
You can't talk about London broil. I
love London broil.
No, your phone is saying that. Your phone's like, you can't talk about London broil. Now I'm going to act up.
Yeah, can we get that?
Can we get that stick?
1 second. Going to my head is enough.
Is it okay? Hold on. Oh no, it was William.
Oh
no, not William.
No, it wasn't William.
Eric.
Phone.
Yeah. What about?
No, we're hearing the echo. We're hearing feedback, man.
Hold on.
Okay. Fix it. Jesus Christ. All right.
Hold on a second.
While we're talking about steak.
Okay, I'm muting you right now, Eric. It's really bad. Jeez.
Let's all get together in September, Dave.
Yes,
September 2nd.
but we got Jose also showing up right now.
Hi, Jose.
Why?
Yeah,
Hi,
what's
Jose.
up, people?
William. I know. I'm with you on the A1, William. Me and you, we got
All
that.
right, get Eric. Since I'm here now, get Eric out of here, okay?
Wow.
Listen, my steak days are very numbered. It's not like I'm eating steak.
Okay, but you wouldn't put A1 on like, okay, so if you got like a good prime rib, you don't put A1 on that, right?
I don't know any better, yeah?
Huh?
Same. Thank you, William. We don't know any better.
I don't have
you
that.
guys have not
What
had
life
good
are you
steak.
living?
You guys have not had good steak.
Apparently not. High roller? Damn.
Listen, don't come for my mama. Don't come for my mama. She turned me on that A1, okay?
So I don't have
what do you put on your prime rib?
What the hell?
By the way, Eric, your mic's not working. I don't know. Check it out. Double check. You might have to come back in. Anyways, what were you gonna say, Jose?
I said I don't have that much time, so if anybody wants to say they have a crush on me right now, just go ahead. Okay.
I have a crush on you, Jose.
I would if you didn't have that freaking
Oh, damn. I'm sorry that they're coming for you, Jose.
William says
I'm
he wants
sorry
to
they're
crush
coming
me.
for you.
No, not crush me, William. Crush on me.
All right, we got over the A1 shock of the stream, guys. I apologize. Like Dave came for me and William for the A1, but it's okay. We still love Dave.
We like or we don't like A1.
No, Dave doesn't like A1. A lot of people in chat didn't like it either.
Yeah, because it's gross.
A1 is great.
Do a poll, Dave.
Oh
Do a
my
poll.
God, you guys.
Here's the thing, William. You could probably test this. Family barbecues, always A1 sauce on the table for a condiment, right?
Yeah.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Right. That's what I'm saying. We didn't know. We didn't know there were other sauces that existed.
Hey, what's up, Rosemary? Where you been? My DMs have been quite dry.
Elon Pena there getting good stuff.
I don't know if you make a good steak, you don't need sauce.
What do you put on it? What do you put on it?
I got.
Oh, you saying you don't need sauce?
Huh?
Oh, okay.
Well, I agree with Dave. If the steak is that good, you shouldn't put anything on it. It should just be by itself.
Well, a low roller like me.
Have some mashed potatoes on the side and.
No. Listen, a good steak is a good steak, sure, but I still like my sauces on stuff. Like even if it's,
God.
I do. I make
my brother loves A1 sauce, and it's like it puts it on
everything. Your brother's a Dodgers fan too.
I mean, a good listen.
No, he's a Giants fan as well.
I thought your brother was
No, my mom
is from Boston. Saggy's a Bostonian. They love their sauces. Don't they love like tartar sauce?
Yeah, we get. Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Jose. Thank you for acknowledging my Bostonian heritage.
I'm a Los Angelino. I'm an A1 guy.
All right, can someone get the spammer that's in the chat, Robin?
Who?
Wait, there's a spammer?
Yeah, he's saying he'd rather be killed by Joker than he has a crush on me.
Wow,
damn,
that's pretty funny, but no spamming. Don't make me get my crowbar.
Well, how many times did you do it?
It's a wrench, but I turn it into a crowbar real quick.
I also like ketchup on some steak too, but also I make a really good salmon. Like I season my salmon good, and every time.
Look at his eyes. Look at Dave's eyes.
Anyways, William, let me say this: James Gunn Superman needs to make $1 billion.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't.
It needs to make profits. It needs to make profits.
It needs to be universally loved, is what it needs to be.
It's not going to happen.
You're being
sarcastic.
No,
I'm serious about that. I'm serious. They need universally loved because it's like enough. Because it's like they need a hit. They need a big hit. They need.
But Jose, there's already a huge bias when it comes to James Gunn right now, with a lot of at least fans for sure. But also on top of that, you got everyone still hanging on to the Henry Cavill cope. Not cope. I'm going to be nice and not say cope, but the Henry Cavill grief, because I'm also kind of sad about Henry Cavill as well, right? And like it's a big shoes to fill as far as the person making it and the actor that's going to take with the role. So there's two big things that they have to hit, and it's going to be hard for them to hit it because they have so much top stacked against them. So I think that it doesn't really have to be it's going to have a lot of people be like, all right, this wasn't bad. This wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. That's what you're going to get. It can't be. It's not going to be universally loved. It's going to be like, okay, this is not bad. We can accept this. They need to accept it. That's the thing. They need to accept it. It's got to be good enough to accept.
Whether this is a success or not, Whether this is a success or not is going to depend on the corporate management's ability to weather the storm of the man babies, the initial storm of the man babies.
I love how the chat
stand
about
firm
steak sauce.
long enough.
This chat still talking about steak sauce. It's pretty funny. Anyways,
if management could withstand it, they'll be okay. If they can't, if they waffle, then we're going to end up in the same situation that we
they
were
need to
years
not
ago.
be as reactionary as the regime. That's what they need to do. If the movie's successful, say have a critic score this guy, okay, well then keep going forward. Don't panic like all these other times. And I was saying something shit earlier talking about the.
You sound like a robot right now, Jose. By the way.
I mean,
it's robot. It's roboting bad. Well, I would say this. Keep talking.
Oops. Can you hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's a little.
It's a little choppy.
Yeah.
You're in a phone booth, aren't you?
Real quick,
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say this real quick. Yeah, sounds good. I'll say this real quick. I think right now, my personal thing is like, to me, it's I'm really wanting to see how the Flash does. That's my big thing, is seeing how the Flash does, because I think that they are going to try. I hope that they find some way to kind of explain, maybe hopefully, where the direction's going. I don't think they will. I'm not sure, but I really want to see how the Flash really does, because the Flash right now is probably the biggest project they have going, and everyone's saying that they're confident in it, and I really want to see how good it is and what that's going to do.
Yeah, since you said that, that takes me back to what I was going to say about that I saw this article or whatever talking about that there's some people saying that they were like blaming Gunn for I was going to say lack thereof success of Shazam because of his whole like reboot thing and this and that and da-da-da, and it's like, you know what? I don't think it's going to be solely blamed on Gunn, but what I do blame is I blame people for, were we not waiting for this announcement that morning? Like, did we not all watch this announcement that morning when it came out? Why do people act like they didn't see it? When they're like, oh my God, is Shazam going to be in the DCU? Is Blue Beetle going to be in the DCU? Did we not watch the same presentation? Like, what is going on here? Like, literally, what's his face? Gunn starts off saying that Shazam has always this and that, so he fits perfectly well into the DCU. And then he goes on to the next one, and he goes, it's like, he literally, that's the first thing he said. Yeah, so, but the thing is with the communication is, there is no communication with Gunn right now, because it's like, okay, well, Shazam fucking flopped. Like, there's no way around that. That shit flopped. That shit did worse than fucking Captain Underpants or some shit. Or that movie made more money, I think. And then it's true.
Captain Underpants stayed.
And then and it's like, but he's not saying shit. He didn't say anything about it. They let that movie just die without anything. Like, there's no, and then he has his wife is Jennifer Holland Harcourt is in the post-credit scene, and then still nothing, like no communication whatsoever. So it's like, okay, the movie flopped, but is the character still gonna be in the DCU? Are they gonna move forward with this?
I think both them and Black Adam might. The problem with Shazam and Black Adam, like I've said this from the beginning, not one of those movies should have ever been made. That's the problem. You cannot overcome.
You hear that, Dwayne Johnson? Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
The funny thing is Shazam being on the original slate, though.
Zachary Levi too. Because listen, I love the first Shazam movie. It's one of my favorite DC movies.
It's great,
but it shouldn't have been made. Neither one of those movies shouldn't have been made. And the problem is when you don't have a game plan, a support network for your IPs to thrive in, and you're putting B-listers and C-listers and expecting them to be the ones that hit the grand slam to clear the bases, that's the problem. Too much weight was being put on characters that no one knew who they were. All right.
Well, I mean, it's like when you look at WB, they're like, well, we gave you the 3 powerhouses in one movie, and you guys fucking hated the movie, and now, it made us change everything. So
no, they hated that butchered version of the movie. They never got the unsolicited, the non-bastardized version of the movie.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, William. Theatrical Ultimate Edition. At the end of the day, these people do not like that movie. It's gonna be 10 years, 20 years.
800. Listen. Remember what I said? Math is undefeated. Math is undefeated. $871 million.
Oh, they would
if you can't translate that into if you can't translate $870 million into the next step, you deserve to be cutting the pizza. Not even the guy making the pizza. You're the guy who cuts the pizza before it goes out for delivery. If you can't make the best out of escalating box office, $678 million with one movie, and then your next movie makes $871 million. If you can't capitalize on that, you don't deserve to have not just your job in the studio, any job, because apparently you can't act. All right.
No, it's true. They should have just been like, we don't
beat you, or it makes you look stupid and try to fight it. You know?
They should have said, you know what, we don't care about this criticism.
Platform for success.
Yeah, I'm saying.
So I will say this real quick.
Criticism doesn't pay power bills.
No, I get that's true. But
logic doesn't pay for.
But here's my go get another beer. Well, here's my thing, right? Like, so I will say this, like,
pays for a lot.
The reason why I'm excited for Flash 2 and I want to see what it does, like, okay, I see the chat and I kind of agree with a lot of what y'all are saying. But the thing for me is, like, the last few movies that have come out DC, right, have not done that great. And now I want to see if the Flash, because the Flash is, like they said, they're hyping up the Flash. The Flash is the it movie for them. The Flash, I want to see if what the issue is. Is it because people are tired of DC, or is it because the movies just really weren't that good? Because if the Flash doesn't do well, then I'm gonna sit there and be like, what you know, if the movie is actually as good as they say, and we watch it, look, is it actually up to the hype, or is it just
Saggy, you don't even have to wait. You don't even have to wait until the Flash. You wait for the Guardians. Look at Guardians. They're saying Guardians isn't even doing that well with the ticket sales. If that movie flops, and if that movie doesn't have good reception, then yeah, people are fucking tired of comic book movies. If Guardians,
they're tired of B-listers. They're tired of B-listers. What A-list movie fails? Give me an A-list movie, even a crappy one like Thor.
BVS. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
All right, but Guardians has jumped that hurdle, William. They're not D-listers anymore. Guardians.
Yeah, but right now they're not associated with an A-level movie. Right now, they are not in the vicinity of an A-level movie. Those two previous movies did well because they were within that saga. Same thing with Captain Marvel. What A-list movie that has been released has failed?
But those movies are the most standalone movies in the MCU too. Like, there's really, except for having Thanos in it.
They ride on the same wave.
Well, yeah, because
they ride on that same wave. They ride on that same wave.
All right, we got a couple other people coming in. We got RJ.
Hey, Dave.
Hold that. RJ's here.
I got a Oh, I'm echoing.
Yep.
I got a poll, but I will see you guys.
I will see you guys all next week.
Full circle.
Another echo.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining.
Bye, William.
Good to have you with us, William.
Later, William.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah. By the way, so how's my audio now?
Same.
Is it?
Still doing it.
All right, hold on. I'll switch them. I'll see if I can switch the mic.
Okay. All right, RJ, are you there?
Hello. Yes.
There you are.
RJ, before you start, hold on. Sorry, I gotta go too. I just wanted to stop in real quick.
Okay.
So you guys have fun. I'll be in the chat. I'll keep an eye out. I'll talk to you guys in a bit.
All right.
Bye, Jose.
Thank you,
Bye.
Jose. All right.
Bye. But yeah, I just got here, but I was kind of just listening a little bit. It's kind of interesting. I've kind of come to the realization that this whole genre is in like a very weird place right now. So it's kind of like either this DCU reboot is going to be like the most perfectly timed thing ever, or it's just going to kind of accelerate the whole decline. You know what I mean? Like, it's either going to be like the best thing that could ever have happened, or like the worst thing ever. You know?
Yeah, well, I've actually been saying that myself when it came to, like, you know, both DC and Marvel in an interesting spot, because even though Marvel is still, like, you know, the head cheese when it comes to this, but they're not where they once were. And, you know, when it came to Phase 4, it was a little rough for them. It was a little rough, and then even things right now are still going to be rough. So now it's like, and now we got DC still trying to do their thing. So they're both trying to keep this ship afloat. Well, I mean, DC's trying to get their ship to just get onto the fucking water, but yeah, Marvel's,
Well, here's the crazy thing, right? Because I know Jose was mentioning it before he left, so I was looking it up. So the thing with Guardians 3 right now is currently it's tracking for about a 90 million opening, just as it is, because apparently the pre-ticket sales are not very strong whatsoever. They're actually very far behind. They're on par with like some other recent movies. Now, it's not the end-all be-all, because they're doing something that they normally don't do. They're doing fan event screenings next Friday, or this upcoming Friday, the 28th. And they're hoping, I think, for like walk-up ticket buyers. But if this thing upwards under 100 million, I'm gonna have some questions.
Yeah,
because like this should be like because it's kicking off the summer. Marvel's always kicked off the summer with big numbers. If it opens under 100 million, it's less than the last Guardians movie. Because I don't think it's going to be an issue of quality. I think it's just honestly brand fatigue. Like I think Quantumania damaged the Marvel brand.
Yep.
Way more than any of us could have ever realized, and that's kind of scary. How one movie just went, just kind of just like blew up the whole thing.
I'm amazed. Bit, you know? I'm amazed that damage didn't happen from Love and Thunder or Ragnarok while we're at it.
I think it was a build-up. I don't think it was like one specific movie. I think it was a sequential build-up. Because you had Love and Thunder, then you had She-Hulk, which I didn't hate She-Hulk until the very end, but
I like She-Hulk. Yeah, I like She-Hulk.
But you had Love and Thunder, She-Hulk, and then I forgot what else came out. I think it was his Quantumania after that. It could be, maybe I'm forgetting something. But like that was like 3 strings in a row, you know? Yeah, I like Moon. I don't know. I like. Let's see what the Disney Plus thing too.
Yeah,
the Disney Plus thing too. It's like I think it's just diluted the brand a bit. Yeah, and like you're training audiences just to go and wait for streaming too. So I don't know.
Wait, I mean, I think the TV shows on the streaming did really well. I mean, Moon Knight did well. I know Miss Marvel did okay. I mean, a lot of the Marvel shows were actually
well with like the hardcore fans or like everyone though. That's kind of the thing.
I mean, like in the movie sense. I mean, we had Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which did really well. We got Spider-Man did very well. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's weird because because we had all these we had some event films that happened, and then it's just like almost seems like people are like, you know what? I mean, after Spider-Man and bringing all that to fruition, which is fantastic. Now it's like, all right, well, what could possibly be next? All right, Secret Wars. Well, Hugh Jackman's coming back. Cool. I think Deadpool will probably do some numbers. I was just looking at numbers for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. It's funny because the first Guardians movie made about 96 million. Second one made 146 million opening weekend.
Yeah.
So it is pretty, and of course the second one did make more money overall. But yeah, it is going to be interesting to see like if it's tracking, is it going to make the same numbers that the first one made? Is it going to make below, or is it going to be in between? Yeah. I don't know. I think
that's why they're doing those fan screenings, because I've not seen Marvel. Because if you notice, the way they're doing the press for this movie is kind of very interesting. Like they screened it in Europe first, and they're doing the fan screenings. Like, they're doing it very differently than they did before. Because I think the Quantumania thing, they did like that very traditional rollout. It kind of backfired because like that negative word of mouth came in like right before it opened. I don't know though. It's just there's just so much drama going on too with the Jonathan Majors thing, and like I don't know if you guys kept up with like that that Netflix show Beef, but they brought in a lot of the talent from that show to work on Thunderbolts, so there's controversy with those guys right now. It's just like
no shit, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, some guy, I think one of the writers or actors, David Cho, had a controversy or something like that. Cast is sticking up for him, but like people are upset about that. And then you had the Victoria Alonso firing and that whole controversy. It's just like bad headline after bad headline after bad headline lately. And it's very abnormal because typically we don't see that. It's just been like the past year,
Yeah. And then we had we had Wakanda Forever that came out, and that made 181 domestic opening, which is really good, and it ended up making just under 900 worldwide, which is, I mean, but I think
that was the first one, but
but I mean, like, I don't know. It's just very interesting because, we are in a weird spot when it comes to this genre. Very weird, interesting spot. Because then we got the Flash coming in. What if the Flash makes $1 billion? And then we have Super Mario Brothers that is going to cross $1 billion. So now everybody's going to be like, video game movies, let's do it.
No, that's the funny thing about this, right? Like, you're seeing a lot of doom and gloom this month, especially because Mario blew up as much as it did. Now people are like, I'm tired of comic book movies. Give me more video game movies. Like that's the new thing,
right?
Like it's like the meme where it's like Andy looking at Woody. So it's like I'm done playing with this. Let's get the new toy.
It's a good.
Wow. By the way, I actually saw the Mario movie for the first time today. Like my sister and I, we went to see the Super Mario Brothers movie, and then we went to see the Dungeons and Dragons. So good stuff.
Dungeons and Dragons was good. I thought that was good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. Like the filmmakers clearly have a firm grasp of the game, and a love for it and to what makes the game work. Like everything about like the plot was actually very like I really dug how complex the plot was and how these curveballs would come in that would make sense but would still like would keep you guessing because that's how the game works.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like when you stick true to the source and you're not trying to make a live action. Pretty easy to just be like to pretty much nail it.
Yeah.
That's what they did. I mean to try to do video game adaptations have been so rough because they try to make it live action. And sometimes you just can't do it unless you're actually doing a video game that's even if you're trying to do a video game that's based that doesn't have like cartoony type characters. I mean, it's still really hard to do, but I'm just glad when it came to doing it again, they're like, all right, we're just gonna, and they didn't even go like the whole like, hey, partial animation, partial live action, like they did with Sonic, but it worked with Sonic. So it did work with Sonic.
Yeah, I mean, I would say because seeing the Mario movie today, like it was very entertaining. It was guaranteed. You can sit back and enjoy it, but on that end, they do play it safe on making sure that it's enjoyable. Like they don't take any risks with it.
Yeah.
Like it was enjoyable. It was anyone who's familiar with the game understands what's going on with this movie. And people who don't know the game can sit back and enjoy it.
Which is fine.
No, and that's fine. Like
exactly.
It's made for like its target audience. It doesn't try to be anything else. You know.
Yeah. Saggy, you still awake?
No, I'm just listening because you guys are talking nerdy, and I just am like can't keep up.
Yeah. One thing is that it was made to everything. It's just that everything that was put into the movie was made to make sure that it will be successful, and the filmmakers had a good grasp on what would make the movie successful, and it worked.
It did work.
Give people what they want.
Yeah, I mean but I mean it's hard to even try to nail that. I mean I think we had it just the right amount of nostalgia wrapped up in a nice new shiny box. Like that pretty much it was like that. I mean I was watching it, I didn't think like anything was like too like, but I know some people were going, oh man, they should go harder with like the fleshing out of the characters. I'm like, I thought they did a good job with some backstory stuff with Mario, Luigi and stuff. But I mean, it's still going to be the basic, hey, Bowser trying to take over shit. Mario's got to save the day.
It's a very simple story. I mean,
Very
that's
simple.
okay. I mean, it's more so about that emotion of like being in the world and seeing it realized. And like, if we don't have that emotional connection to it, it probably won't be as effective, you know?
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, again, it's made for its target audience. That's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Plus, Jack Black can sing.
Well, of course.
Oh, yeah. That's why you cast him as Bowser for that whole song that he did. And that was absolutely fantastic, you know? And, you know, that was smart, too, to do that because now that song, you know, has been downloaded like a bunch of, you know, fucking million times. And now, you know, they'll probably consider it for Oscars. Maybe. I don't know if it'll do that, but maybe. Who knows? They might nominate it. I mean, it's just interesting, like when it comes to these movies. But like you said, RJ, it's like it's almost like maybe the new shiny thing might be these video game movies, and then
that's how the industry is reacting right now. It's like I'm telling you, like within the next month or so, you're going to hear about a bunch of stuff. Like Last of Us was this year and was a big deal, and we have the God of War series, Amazon Prime coming up.
I didn't think about that. We're coming off Last of Us.
And arguably, like to an extent, the Warhammer series is kind of sorta. It's not quite a video game because it started off as a tabletop game, but
it's video game adjacent though.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because there were video game parts, like video games made for the franchise.
Well, hey, long as they make another Resident Evil movie.
Listen, man, I've been saying this for so long. Resident Evil has so much storytelling potential, but they
can't figure it out.
Right.
They can't figure it out.
It's like, especially because horror is so big right now.
Yeah.
The thing is that the new movie, Welcome to Raccoon City, I've not seen it yet, but that one I felt like, just from the trailers, I'm like, okay, they're trying to be as close to it, but then I hear from friends it's like really bad. It's like they ruin certain characters. It's like, you have the template, like just get like a Sam Raimi or something, like do like an Evil Dead, like get one of those hot up and coming directors, just like make it a horror movie where it's survival horror. They're trapped in a mansion trying to figure out what's going on. Like that's the easiest premise ever. Like you can make so much money with that on the cheap. You know?
Yeah, no, you're right. RJ, I have a very important question for you. This question will determine the future of our friendship moving forward. Okay. So this is important. Do you put A1 sauce on your steak?
I actually do. Yes, I do.
Ha! Thank you. I love you, RJ. That's my homie.
Listen, it depends. If the steak is really juicy, typically I don't need to, but in most cases I still use it anyway, just because I like the taste of it. So
thank you, RJ. See, that's the homie for real. Thank you, appreciate you, RJ.
God, man, you guys.
For me, it's just
you're the weird one, Dave. You're the weird one.
No, because I can actually eat things without a shitty sauce.
For me, it just really depends. I mean, look. Like I said, London broil I can eat just fine, or any good quality juicy steak, like RJ says, fine. But if it's dry or whatever, give me the sauce.
Fair enough, but I just wanted to, sorry guys, we had to circle back because RJ wasn't here for the steak conversation.
No, I heard a little bit of it, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
I forgot.
My mother's cooking was amazing. 1/6 shape. How dare you? My mother was a saint.
Yeah.
Her steak was good.
Sauce over everything. Here's your A1.
Well, hold on, but okay. So let me explain. Right, my mom puts some kind of sauce on everything. My mom was the one who taught me to put salt on watermelon. She always had to put some kind of seasoning or flavor on stuff, even when it didn't need it. So I think that's probably why I'm used to sauces. But my mom cooked really good steak. She really did. My mom was really good. But I'm just kidding. 1/6 shape. I was just messing with you. Much love. But I will say this. I hear everything that's being said, and I like to let people talk, because sometimes I talk way too effing much, so I like to shut my mouth sometimes. Yeah, I know, right?
Well, that aside, it's a shame that William and Jose left before I could ask them if they were drinking anything. But Arnold Palmer, by the way.
Nice.
Well, William only drinks Pepsi, and I don't think Jose was drinking anything at the moment.
Yeah, I saw the Pepsi, so that answers the question.
Jose sounded like he was at work. Was Jose at work? I don't think he could drink at work.
Maybe he was at work. Yeah, he might have been at work.
Well, if he's at work, then coffee is nothing else.
Yeah, I don't think they let Jose drink at work. Unless they do, they don't want to work with him.
He might sneak. Hey, I've met Jose in real life. He's a drinker. We went to a Dodgers game, and that guy was panning back.
Yeah, see, I was right. He was at work. No, I thought I heard him at work. That's what I thought. But I was gonna say, when it comes to like Marvel, DC. I think I learned with Marvel's at that point where they're like, I think fans are kind of just like, yeah, you had us in the beginning, but now we're kind of just like, meh. Like all the main characters that we signed up for are gone.
Well, but here's the thing, right?
Exactly.
What sucks so much is that I understand why, because they already had plans set in place. But it's so clear what they need to do is just get Fantastic Four and X-Men on the board, because that's your future. That is where your future of Marvel lies right now. But there's so many years away, you know?
Yeah.
Lucky things, like we're just kind of spinning in our wheels till we get to that point.
Yeah, but do you think that could be a good? Do you think that could be a good?
Agreed. I mean, I said
reinvigorate something. It could reinvigorate.
Maybe, but could it be too little, too late though?
True. Could be that.
Yeah, look, I mean, what I said in a previous stream is that look, if you gotta one up Thanos, then you go for Galactus. But in order to do Galactus, you have to bring in the Fantastic Four, then you got to bring in Silver Surfer, and then you can set up Galactus. Now, fortunately, they've already done some setup with all the stuff with the Celestials, but still, you got to have Fantastic Four, you got to have Silver Surfer, and then you can bring in Galactus. But still, even then, it's
that too. Like, you don't even need Galactus. I mean, Galactus would be cool, but like you could do like an entire saga with Doctor Doom as like a main line.
Yeah,
I think that's probably going to be the next one after King. And then of course you have the King situation with the Jonathan.
They might be fast tracking Doctor Doom.
Yeah. But my thing with Marvel. My thing with Marvel.
By the way, on that note.
Oh, go ahead, Eric.
I
think we're lagging. I think it's lagging.
Yeah, I think. Well, because what I'm saying is that, by the way, speaking of Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four, what is everyone's thoughts about Adam Driver? So apparently Adam Driver is going to be Reed Richards.
I like it. I'm okay with it.
I'm fine with it, but I think it's really weird. internet is reacting by saying he's very ugly. He's too ugly to play Reed Richards. I'm like,
Yeah,
dang.
it's like Reed Richards supposed to be like a
Okay.
super stud.
Okay. By the way, people saying that he's ugly is like, guys, you are aware of how big Adam Driver's female fan base is, right? And how passionate they are about him.
Yeah, he took off his shirt.
Wow.
Who cares about his face? He took off his shirt. But no, I was gonna say with Marvel, it's like I think the thing is like I think we weren't ready to let go of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Chris Evans, Captain America. I don't think they were ready for that. I think it was a little too soon for them to pull the plug on those characters. And on top of that, look at their replacements. Now we're getting Ironheart. No offense. I mean, I didn't mind Riri in Wakanda Forever. I thought she was an okay character, but like I don't think I don't think the fans really give a shit about Ironheart. You know. Yeah.
She is not a popular character. She is not a popular character in the comics. Neither was like America. Certainly, America Chavez was not a popular character in the comics.
Here's the thing, though. Even if they're not popular, you could have made them. Like, here's the thing: you could have like transitioned away from Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans if the quality was there. If the quality is there, people get behind it. But I think it's just been very divisive, and I think it's premature. For the most part, there's stuff I've liked in Phase 4. I really love Loki, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man. Like, there's been really good stuff, like WandaVision. But like some of the other stuff, like I'm not sure what the disconnect is. If like people just aren't watching some of the Disney Plus stuff, if the movies are just being burnt out, if they just don't like the movies that are coming out. Like I'm not sure.
I still think it was too soon to kind of start killing off some of the Avenger characters that, like, you know, they even killed off Black Widow. Like, they just started killing off characters, and I think, like, I mean, I feel like it's a little too soon.
Maybe it is, but it wouldn't be, like, a bad thing if the replacements and the stories that came after them were, like...
But they're not. But they're not. Like, the replacements for these characters, again, Riri was fine in Wakanda Forever. I think a cameo like this, she, to me... gave me the same vibes as Batwoman did. Batwoman in cameos was okay. I didn't mind Batwoman in the cameos and the crossover episodes, right? But when Batwoman was announced as a TV show, I was like, oh, this is going to be trash. And guess what? Sorry, it is. It's trash. And that's how I feel about Ironheart. Ironheart is going to be standalone trash. Sorry.
Yeah.
But watch it be
Sorry. As you pointed out, RJ, like it's gonna take a while, a couple years before we get into Fantastic Four. In the meantime, there's more of these characters that not that many people are familiar with. I mean, how long? I mean, I don't think there's any real announcements for where Spider-Man's gonna go next.
We know something's coming, but they haven't had it. They haven't release date, or they haven't started filming anything. They haven't said who's in it, or what they're doing with the story yet.
Right.
I mean,
I like Aztec's comment because I think Aztec comment. My mind. I can't even read the rest. Thank you. My brain just like lost it. I just stopped at that. But yeah, like the comment there is like I've asked plenty of people lately, and every one of them have all said the same thing: losing interest in comic book films. I think that's partially true. I think they're losing interest in the comic book films, especially of characters that they're not familiar with. If it's comic book characters that they're familiar with, they're usually fine. Those usually still do well. I think they're just getting burnt out of all the characters that they just don't know, and those movies aren't really hitting as the mark for them. I think it's like a combination of both.
That's the crazy thing. That's what I've been thinking too lately.
Yeah.
Like, I've come to the realization that I truly believe, like, maybe it's hyperbolic, maybe not, but I think Superman Legacy is a more important movie than maybe any of us could have pictured, because it's 2 years away,
we all agree,
right? But 2025 is going to be probably one of the most important years for the genre as a whole, because you got the Batman Part 2, right, which I think that should be fine. Yeah. But Superman Legacy is so important because that either changes the trajectory and the conversation, right? Or just kind of adds fuel to the fire of like the genre as a whole.
I'll say this. I'll say this. That James Gunn better hope that in that time we're waiting for that movie, that a new genre doesn't pop up that starts taking over. Because every few decades we have we have the new genre of cinema that take over. What was it last time? It was like the genre of the film adaptations of novels, popular novels.
Yeah, the teen novel adaptation.
Yes, that was a huge thing. So the worst thing that's gonna happen is during that time they're making the movie, another meta is gonna come in, another type of genre is gonna take wave, and then the superhero films are gonna fade out.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, RJ, 2025. That's Superman Legacy, the Batman 2, and I believe that's when that's where a Fantastic Four is scheduled to come out, at least for now.
Also that year, yeah. That's what I'm saying. 2025 is really important here.
Yeah, you're right.
The A1 movie, yes, the A1 sauce movie.
Oh,
wow. But anyway, I will say, like, going back to Adam Driver, like, Driver has actually said that, like, they had approached him, like, hey, do you want to do Reed Richards or do you want to do Victor Von Doom? Now, I'm sure everyone would have thought more that he would have been a Dr. Doom, because he's got the voice, he's already played, had a mask on his face most of the movies, but he chose to be Reed Richards. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't hate it. I saw those rumors and I was like, cool.
I will say though, when it comes to Sue Storm, that's the one casting I'm most nervous about, believe it or not, because like Sue Storm has often been like the heart of that team. Yeah. And like the list of women that they got, apparently it's between Vanessa Kirby, Allison Williams, Jodie Comer, and Mila Kunis. And I'm like, ooh, I don't want Mila Kunis.
No, I don't
I'd rather have anyone else but Mila Kunis.
Here's the thing. I like Mila Kunis.
Give me Jodie Comer.
I will say this. I like Mila Kunis herself, but I do not see her looking good as a blonde. I'm sorry.
They'll just put that Jessica Alba wig that they put on fucking Kate.
Like personally, like if Adam Driver's the guy, I feel like Jodie Comer or Vanessa Kirby would fit better. But Allison Williams did work with Adam Driver on that Girl Show for HBO.
Draga, stop!
What happened?
That's your tongue, bro.
Am I missing something?
What did you say? I said Jodie's Corner. Oh, Jodie's Corner. I read that wrong. I was like, Jodie Corner. What does he mean? Oh, he said Jodie's Corner. No, he could be the Thing. He'll be the fucking Thing.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Well, he believes Joss Whedon, so I don't think so.
I'm freaking
by the way, Jodie's Corner. No. No, the thing. Like, remember, he's what's his name? Like, what's his name? What's his comic name? I forget. But
Ben Grimm.
Yes, Grimm. Yeah, Grimm. He is. It's a big part of his character is that he's a Jewish New Yorker with that kind of.
Yeah. Him being Jewish is really important. Like, he's basically like, Jack Kirby. He's basically Jack Kirby's insert character.
Yeah,
like, it's very much like the spirit of Jack Kirby is Ben Grimm.
Yeah, so he's got to be someone who can give that kind of personality in order to really be the Thing. I mean, you want to talk about? I mean, it's been talked about for. I mean, you want to talk about representation and like whitewashing and all that nonsense. It's like, I'm sorry, but it is a part of Thing's character that he's a Jewish New Yorker.
Wow, they're going to cast Seth Rogen. It's clobbering time.
Yeah. I would laugh my ass off if they cast Seth
Clobbering time. Let's do it.
I don't know. Like, looking at him, how he normally looks in the comics, and then thinking with that laugh, I don't know. It's somehow might.
No, it's funny though. It's like circling it back to Mario. I was looking it up because I'm like, who are they going to cast this? Because they had to cast a Jewish actor. Now, Jack Black, he currently is an atheist, but he was raised Jewish. So I'm like, he does voice work. I mean, could you get away casting Jack Black? Because he probably would do a good job. I mean, he kind of fits,
Yeah, I mean, man, that's gonna be. I mean, did they even? I remember there has always been rumors of like, oh yeah, they're gonna talk about the casting for Fantastic Four. I'm just wondering when exactly. What do we have from a Comic-Con? You think it's gonna be Comic-Con?
It's gotta be
Comic-Con, right?
Yeah.
They'll bring them up all on stage and get everybody all excited again, and But and then we got Johnny.
Yeah, and you got to cast someone in their early 20s so they can act opposite Tom Holland, because they're going to want Human Torch and Spider-Man interacting a bunch.
Yeah.
So
they're going to get somebody younger, probably.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
But
listen,
also,
they already got
gotta
upset
be-
when they cast Michael B. Jordan.
You're gonna race bend,
Yeah.
or not race.
Listen,
gender bend.
it's race and gender bend. That's the
Yeah.
best type of
Real-
wokeness.
Oh wow! I mean, because here's the thing: like, could they go for
and
like
LBGT.
a half? I mean, could they go for like Susan's half brother again, or would they
No,
feel like
that's the thing, because based on like what Matt Shackman's kind of said, he wants to go for pure comic book accuracy. That's why they want to cast a Jewish actor for a band.
Guys.
It's going to be
Guys,
Uh-oh.
I am the trinity of wokeness. I am black, I am a woman, and I'm pansexual. You got all three of the wokeness packed in one. Cast me as the freaking Human Torch. Let's do it. I want that outrage clicks, man. We need to piss off the entire internet.
How about Silver Surfer?
Man, somebody.
How about Silver Surfer? I could see a Silver Surfer.
yes. Now, Saggy should play Galactus. She just goes around eating all the planets.
Oh wow!
Oh my god, that'd be such a great representation of me.
Well,
Yeah, you look good with that headpiece, that he wears.
Yeah, I just go around and eat all this stuff. What, you talking smack about me?
There wouldn't be a universe left. There wouldn't be a universe left.
All of you would be gone. I'd be like, the whole Earth is gone just for Twitter.
Yeah.
Just for Twitter alone, Earth is gone.
And then have Drax talk about it like that unusually large celestial.
I'm just saying, Earth would be gone. I'd be like, I'm coming for Earth because of Twata.
Yeah.
I
was going to mention too. I don't know if we talked about this yet, but I know.
They'll probably cast an unknown for Johnny.
Yeah, probably. I was going to say too. Cinemacon starts tomorrow, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit. They're already posting Blue Beetle. It's all Blue Beetle costume that was out there.
I hope y'all are ready, by the way, because Tuesday we're getting that Flash trailer, but there's going to be so many spoilers about that movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's already bad now. Like that movie's going to just be completely.
Listen, the only thing I want confirmed is about a certain cameo, just because I want to know if somebody was right or wrong. Because I'm pretty sure they're wrong. But if they're right, I'm gonna cry.
Don't say it.
I'm not saying it.
Okay.
For Blue Beetle?
Sure.
That's the one bad thing is because I know why they're showing the movie so early at Cinemacon and apparently doing like a press screening in LA. But the one bad side is that because Cinemacon is Cinemacon, like it's all gonna leak out. Like especially because it's a big comic book movie, That's like the one sucky thing about it. And they have to avoid spoilers for like 2 months. It's a long time,
Yeah, I know. That's that. Hopefully it won't be. I mean, but at the same time, I'm like, you can already find spoilers online and everything. So,
here's the thing: most of the Flash, has pretty much been leaked for the past year, except for the ending. Because the ending, apparently, they don't even know what the ending is. No one knows.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a good job with my timeline where I can literally. I'm like, I have not seen people just flat out say, certain things. Like when I know people are going to leak shit, I'll block them, mute them, or something like that. And if you want to take even more approach, obviously you can get rid of certain keywords, because obviously I'm not going to stay offline. And, I always get spoiled with this shit too. It doesn't mean I'm not going to go see this movie. I mean, or any movie. I got spoiled with.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but it's just, there's certain steps you could take if you're still on Twitter and, and trying to avoid this shit. So.
Yeah, we'll see what the word of mouth looks like.
You know what's
they're
crazy,
very
though?
confident in it.
I haven't seen spoilers because this is the benefit of me being mostly a drama YouTuber is even though I follow a lot of people who are big into movie stuff, I haven't seen any spoilers. I think that's because most of my timeline's filled with drama right now, so I'm like, I haven't seen.
Yeah,
nothing.
I mean, there's a bunch of people out there saying oh, there's these cameos and this but no one can say what the ending is, which I think is the funny thing, because there was a fake ending that leaked earlier this week about about something that that people said was real and it's fake. Okay,
the George Clooney one.
Can I say what the fake ending was? I think it's funny. I just don't.
Go ahead, please do.
So apparently, the fake ending that people thought was real because everyone was flipping out about it, but trying to be fake. They said, at the very end of the movie, Barry messes with the timeline once again. It ends up in the George Clooney universe and gets arrested like the ending of Planet of the Apes.
There you go.
That's so dumb. And it's it's fake. Okay, yeah.
I mean, we heard of that ending for a while, especially from, I believe Grace was the one who said it, but yeah, it's good to confirm that it's a fake.
It's just like everyone wants to know the ending. Like no one wants to know the ending of the movie. They just want to know what the ending is. It's like because they want to know if it actually like is going to set something up or not.
The ending is that Barry Allen teleports to our universe, and then he realizes that he is a person named Ezra Miller. And then Ezra is like, "Oh crap, what am I doing here?" And then a chick named Saggy Melon shows up and be like, "Hey, you owe me some boba tea. Where it at though?" And that's how it ends.
Wow.
End credits.
End credits. Yeah. End credits doesn't make $1 billion.
Yeah, that's the funny thing too with that movie too. Like, is it even gonna have any end credit scene to set something up, or is it gonna leave it the way it is? I mean, I don't know.
I hope so.
We've heard
I really
so
hope
many
so.
things about this movie over like the past year, but are they still tinkering with that? I don't know though.
I mean, like the whole point isn't like the whole point of credit scenes to either give a comedy punchline or to set up something. But what do they have to set up if the DCU is going to end?
Well, that's the thing, because this is what my belief is personally, and I know Saki's probably going to disagree with me, which is fine. To me, at least, I think the smartest thing for that movie to do is just end with a very clean ending to where it's a blank slate and you can do whatever you want with it. If you want to continue off of it, cool. If you don't want to continue off of it, that's okay because it ends where it ends, right?
Yeah.
Like, have it end ambiguously to where you don't see anything. That way you can do whatever you want with it. You know, you can either tuck away in the corner and be like, that's where the story ends, or you can pick right up where it leaves off and just continue with it.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, like, instead of, like, him actually seeing him in the DCEU, like, back with Gal and Ben and Henry and all the rest, that he basically, after he's done his thing, he's saved the day, now he's going to go back into the Speed Force because he's confident that he's going to go back into his universe, and then he goes off into the Speed Force and then roll credits, something like that.
You know, like the ending, what was that one animated movie that came out? I forget what it was called. But it's like at the end where Barry has to reset things, just ends in like a blink of light. That's it.
Yeah.
Just like ended to where it's like you see him run off. He's trying to fix it.
Was that Apocalypse War?
Apocalypse War, I think it was. Yeah, where it kind of ends in that big light thing, and then that's it. Just roll credits.
Yeah, he just runs off. He runs into the Speed Force, roll credits. Yeah, I mean, I personally, my ideal ending would be he returns to his universe, reunites with everybody, and we see Henry and all the rest, and then they're all happy, and it's happily ever after, and then roll credits. It's much like the end of Justice League Unlimited, where the heroes are going to run out, and they go, and the adventure continues, and they run off.
Too, right? Even if you end it to where Barry wakes up and it's a new universe, it doesn't have to be the DCU. And this is what I keep telling people. Like, James Gunn can literally do whatever he wants. So even if Flash ends in a certain way, he does not have to pick up with it whatsoever. He can just start a new universe anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's up to him and what he wants to do at the end of the day.
Because, like, I will say, Flashpoint has always been a good story in and of itself, but it's just the fact that at the end they tack on, he's got to reorganize the whole universe and start a new one. I always hated that. That was always stupid. But just he goes back to his DCU, he reunites with his friends, and then they're going off into the sunset, and then they're having a happy ending. They're walking off and they're having fun.
I mean, because that's the thing at the end of the day too. It's just like, which is why I sometimes get into arguments with people, not like bad arguments, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, whether you like the idea of a reboot or not, James Gunn was hired to do a job, which was to put a creative stamp on DC and creative direction for it. You know, and I can understand him coming in and being like, you know what, like instead of trying to keep building off of this, like let's just start anew because that way we can make sure our foundation's strong enough. Actors are getting older, contracts, especially for what we want to do, are going to be really expensive. You know. But the thing with the Flash is, and I know this is what the big conversation is about whether or not it matters. To me, at least, I think the purpose of Flash in the day is just be a good movie, do well. If it does well, cool. That's our ending. If it does bad, that's okay. It's our ending anyway, you know, which is why I still think Aquaman 2 is a very weird movie. It's like the black sheep right now because it's off in a little corner. That thing is going
to fall so on its face.
And I feel bad, though, because because it's just like, I think it could have done. Well, here's the other thing, right? They're putting it up against their own competition with Wonka. I don't know if you guys noticed that, which is very odd. Because typically they don't do that. But the other thing, too, is just like, it feels like the most lame duck movie out of them all. Because at least with Blue Beetle, it's a new character, so at least it's whatever. It's a standalone movie. Aquaman's supposedly standalone, but they keep like doing so many test screens. It's like they sunk so much money into it. It's just I don't know. That's why I feel like Aquaman, like as much as I hate saying this, like I feel like Aquaman could have been a straight to like a day and date movie, which they're not going to do that because it's too much money. But like if there was any of them that should have been day and date, probably should have been that one.
All I know is like when it comes to people that I've talked to that are in that world, they have just said they've heard nothing good about it. That's the thing. Nothing good about it.
Well, I can imagine because like they've done how many reshoots and they've tried like the Amber Heard situation and just like trying to tinker with that movie. Because the last I heard about that movie when they did a test screening for it, the person described it as DC's version of Thor: The Dark World because basically the exact same story. It's the two brothers teaming up to stop a bigger threat. And I'm okay.
Well, I mean, we talked about this before, like in an earlier episode of the stream, where we were talking about that. Yeah, it looked like it was James Gunn's version of the Dark World, but it's very much like, and I said this before, that it was very much like the kind of thing that William Shakespeare would do with his competition, like Christopher Marlowe. Like Marlowe did a play, and then Shakespeare would go, "Oh yeah, you know that play you did? Well, I'm going to do a play like that, but I'm going to do it better." I mean, that's how. The story, how that comes across to me, that James Gunn says, hey, you know that movie you did, Thor: The Dark World, that had such potential, but it bombed? Well, I'm going to do a story like that, but I'm going to show you how it's done, and I'm going to do it better.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
although last I heard, too, though, wasn't Jason Momoa really trying to put a lot of environmental themes in it? Because we have that one picture where he's talking to the UN. Like, they really want to push the Save the Ocean stuff in that movie, too.
And that could be a little touchy, too, when you start getting in with the politics of it. And it's like, all right, now it's like, where are you going to lean when it comes to this? If you like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, but for the most part, it's like, if you can like try to, I mean, obviously there's nut jobs on both sides when it comes to some things. It's like, you know, so it's like, how do you
so the wonder if like Jason Momoa is like going to be Lobo or not, and like he's trying to shoot another role, you know?
But again, with James Gunn, like James Gunn has said, he said early on that, look, I'm not interested in making a trilogy. I've never made trilogies. I've always did Saw 1, Saw 2. I've done Conjuring 1, Conjuring 2. Because my stories, I tell the stories I want to tell in 2 movies, and that's it. So with that in mind, I'm not exactly afraid that, like with Shazam, that he keeps setting up stuff, but then he's never going to pay it off. No, he set up stuff in the first movie. He's going to pay it off in the second movie. So I'm not worried about that, unless you got all this BS from like if all the reshoots were because the studio said we want you to set up this new universe. No, we don't. Yes, we do. That's my concern.
God, but yeah, it's just I feel bad because I love James Wan. He's a great filmmaker. I would say he's in my top 10 of filmmakers, and I really like Jason Momoa. You know, I love that guy too. I mean, he's just a level. But at the same time, it's just that movie was just the fact that we're 5 years from when the first Aquaman came out.
It's way too long. Way too long. Just like Shazam 2, where it took too long to get that sequel going.
Yeah.
You know?
Way too long, especially with the kids in the cast. Like, weren't they saying when the first movie came out that, we got to rush into production for Shazam 2 because these kids are never going to be this age forever?
And then they were like all in their fucking mid-20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
And you know what's a really sad thing, too? I like Shazam 2. It's a good little movie. Is it like gonna win any awards? No, but it's fun. It was a fun movie. Like that movie did not deserve to get like to bomb as bad as it did. It's an okay movie, but I don't. But here's the problem too. I just don't think that okay, decent movies are allowed to exist anymore. It's either you are a big deal or you're not. You know.
True.
That's kind
of because even if like I felt like the first 2 acts were a little rough when it came to certain things, and even when David F. Sandberg was showing all these scenes that would have made that better because it was fleshing out things. There was more Billy Batson, and I was like, yeah, of course they removed it because obviously they were like, hey, we're gonna move the plot. But I really liked the final act. I thought the final act was really strong.
Yeah, like the second half of the movie was strong. And the other problem, though, is that like there's not enough Asher Angel, which is a problem. And I will say this, ever since someone posted this on Twitter, I can't get out of my head. I feel like it should have been James Marsden as Shazam and not Zachary Levi. Because I'm just thinking about him like, fits so much better. It's so weird. Like, I don't mind Zachary Levi, but like I can't picture like James Marsden now with Astro Angel. It's just like seems like a better combo, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, yeah, okay, but it's but it's a little too late, sadly. But yeah, that would have probably been I remember when they were like casting for that, and I remember thinking like I forgot who I liked for it, but I also liked Alan Richardson at one point.
Yeah,
I thought he
even John Cena, I think, could have been a good.
John Cena would have been my pick. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. John Cena would have been my pick because his persona has always been this like there's this boyish side to him, but at the same time he's still a man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, but Zachary Levi, that poor guy, he tried so hard.
I know.
I like Zachary Levi, but again, it's like what you were saying, Dave. It's that it's not his fault so much as it was the direction he was given. That he's got to be this like act like a kid, even though like Billy himself, when he's Billy, he actually acts more mature than But
it's just like he's put in this bad position to where like he's got a lame duck movie coming out and he's trying so hard to just like toe the company line and be supportive, but it makes him look bad to certain people who just don't like him, period. So it's like he was just in a losing battle the entire time to where he probably should have just shut up. But I understand wanting to go to bat for your movie, because that's something you poured your heart, sweat, and tears into.
True.
I put my heart, soul, and tears into boba tea, so I can relate.
It's always about the boba tea. But before we wrap this thing up here, how excited we are for SnyderCon.
Yeah, I was hoping that I'm not. Well, since I'm not going to be
the only person going is on one person.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about SnyderCon?
It's gonna be interesting, especially meeting people that obviously Scott, Steven, gonna meet them, and some other people, Andre as well. It's gonna be it's gonna definitely be interesting.
I have a favor to ask.
Okay.
How good of friends are we, Dave? How good of friends are we, Dave?
I think we're good.
Okay, so can you get me an autograph by Zach?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I want him to write Saggy Melons.
Here's what you do. Just go up to Zach and be like, can you write an autograph to Saggy and just put thank you for your great modding work, Saggy Melons.
Or at least have a video of him saying hi, Saggy Melons. Please, that would make my life.
Oh wow.
My life would be complete. I would literally die happy if you got Zach to say my name.
Yeah. Anyway, well, honestly, look. Obviously, I always am kind of sad the fact that I just cannot afford to just go into SnyderCon with all you guys because mainly, but partly because it has become increasingly clear that that's the only way I'm going to be able to actually ask Zach any questions. But regardless. The one thing I would have a lot of things to ask him about how the creative forces work and how the creative process works for him and all that good stuff. But the one thing is just that look, especially with his interview with the Russo brothers, and he talked about how when he cut the whole Lois and Batfleck arc, he was like, look, I wanted to give Amy Adams something because she's a genius. I wanted to give Lois something. But then, without this, she's barely in the movie. And I'm like, Zach, at the end of BVS, you literally set up a connection between Lois and Diana, that there's a bond, the fact that Diana knows what Lois is going through. And you didn't give them a scene together?
Okay, but I mean, I think he was talking about an original idea that was there that he really liked, that was different, that would have shook some people up.
It certainly would. And
liked
and
it.
like I said before, like before we started to get the actual marketing, like the trailers for Justice League, I remember, and we've talked about this before. I remember like thinking about what I would do, and my thoughts did start going to like perhaps like it was actually more of a short film or miniseries or something than anything else. But it was like in this interim between the two between the events before the events of Justice League actually kick off, that like Bruce would feel very protective towards Lois, and then he would go to her, like he would like basically try to help her out, make sure she's safe. They interact, and one thing leads to another, and then he gets feelings for her. So that thought entered my head a while for the same reasons that Zach explained to the Russo brothers, that hey, you know, she's a great girl and all that, and she's going through this grief, and how does she deal with it? Does she feel like maybe
Bruce Wayne?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's what I'll say about the whole thing. You know,
But now I would have had her turn him down because look, it's not time yet. Look, I just can't. Look, the grief is too soon. I can't do it yet. But I do understand where Zach was coming from with that.
Yeah.
So
she saw that scene in Gone Girl where you see Ben Affleck. Go ahead, RJ.
No, I was just gonna say, this is what I feel about it. With the whole Bruce and Lois thing, inherently, I just don't like it. Personally, I think it's the same reason why I never liked what they did with Terry McGinnis in Batman Beyond, spoiler alert, actually being the son of Bruce Wayne, and they kind of did that whole retcon thing at the very end. I feel like sometimes it adds unnecessary soap opera stuff to things, but at the same token, like if that's Zach's idea, I respect him enough to where I would like to see at least him do what he wanted to do. Even if I don't like that decision, I think it's kind of soap opera for the sake of soap opera drama. Like I would have still wanted to see it just because if that's what Zach's idea was, give him the opportunity to flesh it out. Because I'm willing to be open-minded. It's just like inherently I may not like the idea, but at least I would have been willing to hear him out,
Yeah, like I said, ultimately, while I would have gone with that kind of story, I would have had her turn him down, for that reason. Because look, that's just that is just like too much of a soap opera. It's like, look, she's going through her grief, and by the way, and again, like people are saying, well, if he does go forward with it, like with a graphic novel or an animated series or whatever, maybe he'll actually do it as not with the Justice League he wrote. Like he said himself that the movie is set like a couple of months, like a month and a half or so after BVS. So way too soon. Yeah,
but that's part of like the creative process, though. Sometimes you're going to take big swings. Yeah, you're going to take big swings, and that's okay. Like it may not work out. People might think it's like it might be very controversial. But if that's your idea, then go for it.
It's funny because like a lot of people, I mean, when we talk about even BVS, what we saw was not the original idea. That got rewritten. I mean, when it was like David Goyer, him, and I think somebody else were writing that script, there was Metallo was in there. There was more action. It was less political, and then Ben Ontario, Ontario came in and made it more of a political thing. And then when they were doing that, they were also writing Justice League. And obviously the reaction, he even said it during the Russo's thing, was like the fact that when the reaction came for that, it's like they wanted a lighter version, so they had to redo it again. And he tried to keep some certain elements, and then obviously the whole Lois thing was like, you can't, they even said you can't do that, you just can't do that. The studio was like, you can't do that.
Exactly.
But
and also with all the story that was going on in the movie, I mean, if you were really focusing on that kind of romantic storyline, sub-romantic storyline, it would have taken too much from the movie as it is, because the movie's long enough as it is.
Yeah. But regarding SnyderCon, I wanted to say, well, the one thing is, I wish I could go, but like the bad thing is, one, it's like I can't afford to go. Maybe it's like a month or two away. Plus, my college graduation's this weekend, so like I have my entire weekend taken up there. So it's like I wish I could keep up with everything, but it's just like too much is going on to where like I'm just got to catch the highlights. Which kind of sucks because I wish I could take part in it and do more with it. But I mean, obviously, you can't really plan around a college graduation. Yeah.
I forget. Did you ever say? Did you ever tell us what is your major?
Oh, it's a history and education. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
History professor.
You're going to be a teacher, right?
Yes, yeah. It's the
that's
fun
cool.
part.
Sure.
After next week, it's getting a job. That'll be the hard part. So
but there's a lot of teaching jobs out there. Seems like there are always like the certain spots that are always looking for teachers. So.
Yeah, I have given very serious thought to sticking my toe in that pool myself, because like I have my master's, so. And I do remember, when Wikipedia did that article about did that page about the Snyder Cut and it mentioned Project Comic-Con. I do remember that it said I was a film professor, and I'm like, not quite. I mean, I have a film studies degree, but I'm not a professor, so.
Not quite there yet. No, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, especially, to talk to Zach in person again. Looking forward to that. We're going to be doing, of course, I've been saying it, we're going to be doing streaming, podcasting, all kinds of things. We just don't know exactly what the setup's going to be quite yet, but I know, a few of us got an Airbnb in Pasadena, so we'll be doing stuff. Yeah, we'll be doing stuff like Scott, Steven, and a few other guys. We'll be doing stuff at the house, at least Friday after the Man of Steel thing. We'll see when that time is. I don't know. But
I'm trying to. So each of the days is going to be a Q&A, correct? But there's also something else that's going to be unique for each day, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
I think he said Saturday there'd be a signing, and then Sunday it'd be something else.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah. Friday is a cocktail hour thing, which is right before we watch Man of Steel, which that'll be cool, because I remember, I think last SnyderCon, there wasn't as many people that time, especially when it was I think it was Sucker Punch night or something, or not Sucker Punch, Dawn of the Dead night, and there wasn't as many people, so Zach was able to just walk around and shoot the shit. Hopefully he'll be able to do something like that again, but I know it's going to be a little bit more of a packed house, but then
especially Sunday's going to be crazy.
Oh yeah, Sunday's going to be absolutely crazy. Yeah, BBS night, I think that's when we're going to be they are going to try to have a room for anybody who's wanting to do that kind of stuff. And then we could have whoever's there, we could try to get a little conversation with them or whatever the hell. I don't know. We're, like I said, we're still working out the details. And then when it comes to Sunday, that's going to be the craziest day. And God knows what's going on with that. Yeah. But it'll be great to see Zack Snyder Justice League in IMAX. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it's a big theater, isn't it? I think it holds at least 1,000 plus or something, right?
I thought it was. I think it's only about 300 and something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was gonna say the tickets were limited for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, no, of course, yeah. I just figured, I think Sundays, in terms of capacity, it's the biggest. I thought.
Yeah, it is the biggest, because the Art Center is only 214, which is funny. 214, but
214, love it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the IMAX is 330. So I don't know, something like that. I don't know. We'll see, but it's gonna be interesting, and I know there's gonna be people there that don't like me, and I don't give a shit.
And they ain't gonna do nothing about it.
No, they ain't gonna do shit.
They're gonna act chummy, just like last time. They're all gonna act chummy. I guarantee it.
Hey, Dave, no hard feelings about all the shit we talked about you on the internet, right, buddy?
Oh, if certain people come up and try to be chummy, I'm gonna be like, no. Get the fuck out of here, come on.
Hey, hi, Dave. It's nice to see you in person. You're a little bit bigger than I expected. I mean, you look a little small on camera, but wow, you're huge. So listen, about all that shit I said about you being a traitor and a scumbag and a slime ball and a liar and stuff.
I meant every word of it. Come at me, bro.
That was just for entertainment. You're a YouTuber. You get it, right? You get it. It's a YouTuber thing, right? No hard feelings. Right?
Honestly, I think they just won't say anything because they don't want. Because if any crap stirred up, then it's going to look bad in front of Zack Snyder. So they all want to.
That's why I don't want that. I don't want that. But I'm a smart ass at heart. So if something were to pass by me, I might just my smart ass Tourette's might go and just fucking say some shit.
Yeah, no, they're gonna kiss your ass in front of Zach because they want to make it.
Hey, listen, maybe there'll be a stream cameo, be in the room. They'll be in the room too. Just look at each other from a glance, just nod, just be like, all right, go on.
All right.
They're gonna go up to Dave and be like, Dave, you're really not gonna have Zach talk, do anything for Saggy Melons, right? That was a joke, right?
Yeah.
In other words, Dave, make sure you have
somehow I pulled that off, though.
Yeah. So, Dave, make sure you have a camera on with you at all times so you can record all this.
Well, Scott's going to be doing a lot of vlogging. I'll do some video stuff too, but yeah. It'll be definitely
we need time to just enjoy the moment too,
Exactly. It's all about that. It's not all about, I mean, it's not, I know there's people that are trying to scoop this event like there's going to be some crazy announcements. I think the most ridiculous one is that Henry Cavill's going to be there and he's going to have a big announcement. I'm like, fuck you. That's not happening.
Yeah. Well, James Gunn showing up.
No, there's two things that got scooped. The other, like from the Scoopsy Daisies, one was, they're showing the Emerald cut with the Green Lantern scene on Sunday.
No.
And the other thing was that, not only is Gal going to be there, but also Henry and Ben at the same time. And they're going to do like some Trinity announcement or something.
Wow. So hold on. Here's the funny thing about the Emerald cut thing. WB didn't even want it in the first place. That's why it was scrapped and we got the Martian. So do you honestly think if they weren't going to approve of it then, they're going to just all of a sudden approve of it now?
Yeah, they're gonna give. Zach's gonna put his own money to finish that whole scene because it's not finished. It's like they made the screenshot and they put the background and made him look like that. Sure, but that whole scene is not complete, so they would have to actually put VFX.
It's easier to get a completed screenshot of a visual effect versus an actual film scene.
Well, they could just deep fake it. They could just deep fake it like that deep fake that exists. By the way, that deep fake was really good. I'll give the person who made that credit. I did see that where they actually deep faked. Oh my God, why can't I say it? Wayne? I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm blanking. They deep faked Wayne in that shot with the Martian Manhunter. So why the hell can I talk? Marvin the Manhunter. What the hell was I saying?
Marvin the Martian.
I know. I really was. That would probably been a great cameo, though.
I mean, listen, I know the movie leaves me a Tom and Jerry. I'm gonna go full Looney Tunes.
Well, honestly, though, as far as announcements is concerned, I would imagine that any announcements would probably be towards like his future Netflix projects, like obviously, like more Rebel Moon stuff.
What are you talking about?
Maybe
Netflix. What? No, I'm sorry. Huh?
Yeah, the Rebel Moon stuff, like Lost Souls and all that. And honestly, I would love to like see if he's got anything about that Western. I mean, he said he mentioned the Western to the Russo brothers. So like if he's talking about like the King Arthur in the Old West, I'm in. I really want to see that.
No. Here's the thing. You're going to get two announcements. You're going to get the Rebel Moon trailer followed by Zach coming out tap dancing saying that he got Netflix to buy DC completely.
Oh, wow.
It never gets old, right? Never gets old. But I think this is a good spot to end the stream because, we're 2 hours in and got work tomorrow. God damn it. But,
well, before we do, I wanted to show this thing off to everybody. You know how like Star Wars had to build your own lightsaber? They also had build your own droid. So this is my thing. Yeah, it's a remote control kind of droid. Let's see what I can do here. He's got, he's gonna make, so he can talk. Wow. Yeah, he's also got blaster. I also had some blasters here too. So there you go. Yeah, I went balls to the wall with this thing. Yeah, exactly. Right. He can walk around, he moves, and all that good stuff. So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I call him R7D6 if anyone's interested.
Okay, R7D6 doesn't walk as long as R2D2, but hey,
Yeah, because he's red, white, and blue.
Ah, got it. All right, guys. Well, this has been fun as always. Thank you to everybody who showed up. Jose, of course, we had who else showed up? William, there it is. I was like, somebody else. Right?
Your brain is like mine right now with the Marvin Manhunter, man.
Like, I know. Like I said, I'm like, fuck, man.
It rubbed off on you. I'm sorry.
It's gonna be a long week. It's gonna be a fun week, but a long week for sure. So I'm just like, woof, here we go. But thank you, Eric. Thank you, Saggy, for joining. And then of course, thank you to RJ and congratulations again for graduating college and moving on to new and better things. So. And great conversations as always. Thank you guys for supporting the channel as always. Oh yeah, Droga. That's who else showed up. See, you didn't. Sorry, Axel. I thought you were in class. Is he in class watching this and chatting? Axel,
maybe
Droga.
He's in there before.
Yeah.
Axel, this education first.
I know. He like left. He goes, I got class. And then he's been in the chat like this whole time. Yeah. So it's okay. But thank you, Axel, for joining too. So, but you guys are awesome. And we'll talk to you. Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. We'll try again, I'll try to start doing this on Saturdays. Just Saturdays have been rough lately. So, all right, guys. Love you. Talk to you later.